Last week, Diablo 2 Resurrected was on sale for $20 Canadian in the Nintendo Switch eShop. Having not played this game since its initial release on PlayStation 5 in 2021, and having a gift card I received for my birthday, I decided the small price tag was enough to merit giving it another try, but this time, handheld. Now to clarify, Diablo 4, which released just last month, has been consuming almost all of my free time. I absolutely love that game, and that's actually what inspired me to give Diablo 2 another try. I've been enjoying Diablo 4 so much, but I'm always playing co-op with either my brother or my girlfriend, and I wanted to play something that still scratches that dungeon crawling RPG itch, but is slightly different than what I'm used to. I've played through Diablo 3 plenty of times across various consoles, and to be honest, after playing Diablo 2 Resurrected when it first released, it almost felt like a downgrade from that. That's because this game falls into the weird category of being too much of an upgrade to classify it as just a remaster, but too true to the original to call it a remake. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Diablo 2 is one of the most legendary RPG games to ever come out. I would easily put it on my list of top 10 most influential RPGs of all time, and likely at a pretty high spot. The game was super ahead of its time when it initially released in the year 2000, and really helped solidify the success of the franchise. Blizzard did a great job of pleasing those OG fans by staying true to the original game's source material while making serious graphical improvements. Unfortunately though, if you don't have the nostalgic ties to this game and played the heck out of 3 like I did, it might be a bit hard to get into Diablo 2. That's because Diablo 2 Resurrected still just feels like a PC game from 20 plus years ago, albeit an excellent one. If you played Diablo 4 and were overwhelmed by the deep RPG mechanics, I have some unfortunate news for you. Diablo 2 has a skill tree that is more complicated, but less deep than Diablo 3 or 4. To explain it in the most simple terms, you have less attack options, but the choices you make pertaining to your attacks when leveling up have a much bigger impact on your character not dying. There is no evade button, so things like block percentages really become a factor. The game also features something called rune words, which is a combination of runes put into weapon or armor item sockets in a specific order to grant special properties. If it sounds complicated, that's because it is, and I'm super thankful this whole system has been simplified with gems in newer Diablo games. Once you establish a good build though, the game is not too difficult. But establishing that strong build will likely require a good build guide, as sometimes it's not even clear what an upgrade does for your character. I personally currently play as a Holy Fire Paladin, which is a build not offered in Diablo 4. As a side note, this is my preferred playstyle in pretty much every RPG I play. In Diablo 3 I was a Crusader. In Elden Ring I use a Strength and Faith build. I love having strong physical attacks and also the ability to use offensive magic when needed. And unfortunately, aside from maybe a Druid, a build like this doesn't really exist yet in Diablo 4, which is a bit of a shame. As far as the overall tone of the game goes, this really is the strongest pro for me. Diablo 2 is extremely dark. Everything from its brutal cutscenes and storyline to its moody soundtrack and creepy dungeons, these are truly the emotions you want to feel when playing a Diablo game. Playing this game alone on the Nintendo Switch recently has been an absolute joy. When I initially played the game on PS5 back in 2021, I was doing the whole thing co-op with some friends. While Diablo is always a fun co-op experience, having friends with you at all times takes away the element of fear. When you are playing this game alone, it is absolutely terrifying. You may find yourself deep in a scary dungeon getting swarmed by dozens of horrifying enemies with only your own skills and reflexes to rely on. Though the original game back in 2000 was available online, I believe a lot more people were playing it solo as the internet was still a relatively new thing then. And you can tell the developers at Blizzard really wanted this to be a strong solo experience. Though this video is mainly focusing on Diablo 2 Resurrected as a whole and not the various console differences, I do want to touch on the version that I am currently playing. In my opinion, the Nintendo Switch is a great way to play this game. I personally found this to be a game that isn't so fast-paced that it requires a ton of power from your console or PC. Now this could just be me because I am more of a casual player when it comes to Diablo, but Diablo 2 is clearly a much slower paced game than Diablo 3 or 4. Sure, 60 frames per second and flawless performance is nice, but the Nintendo fanboy in me would trade those for the ability to play this game on the go any day. So is Diablo 2 Resurrected still worth it in 2023 with Diablo 4 now being out? Well, the truth is, if you're into modern gaming, have never played a Diablo game before, and the game is not on sale, I would highly recommend purchasing Diablo 4 instead. With both of them coming up to close to $100 after taxes in Canada, Diablo 4 is the much better value at that price point. However, if you're like me and have been looking for a good RPG to casually play on the side and happen to find the game on sale for almost 75% off, it is well worth the money. Though I tend to see retro games through rose-tinted glasses, I understand that a lot of people don't. If you're the type of person who can't get into Ocarina of Time because Breath of the Wild was your first Zelda game, you probably will hate Diablo 2. But if you don't really mind slightly dated controls and want to experience a game that heavily influenced and shaped the RPG genre as a whole, Diablo 2 Resurrected is absolutely worth it. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel as it means the absolute world to me, and I will see you in the next one.